Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. I'm excited about this week. I'm trying to sit down with Kobe and Kalen King, former Detroit, Michigan football players, went on to Penn State. Now one's a Packer, one's a Viking. But you guys got to stick around for that. But today, we're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about Timberwolves in 5. We'll talk about all that and much more coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. We got a busy show for you guys today. We got a busy week as well. Draft content, we have to get to it because I think I was Nostradamus in this one. But do you guys have receipts like this laying around? Are you guys sick of keeping track of all your receipts? Are you sick of trying to figure out what you spend on gas, what you spend on your mortgage, what you spent on the utilities? Well, I got a solution for you. Just make sure you you go to monarchmoney.com and use code LOCKEDONNFL. That's monarchmoney.com. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. You'll get 50% off your first year by using the code LOCKEDONNFL. Well, as I bring my producer into the show, my co-host Sam Ekstrom, as I stated, we got a busy week. I'm trying to sit down. Now, we have it scheduled. But you guys know how schedules work with NFL players. Because if it was just Kobe King, and we'll talk about him, newest Viking linebacker out of Detroit, Michigan, Cass Tech High School, Penn State, Big Ten, we'd be fine because he's ready to go. He said he was free all day after 10 a.m. So he must have an early workout. And then he's like, man, I'm a pro now. I just sit around. Kalen King, DB, Penn State, Cass Tech High School, his twin brother drafted the year before by the Packers. He said, hey, I'm free after 3. So I don't know what he has going on out there in Green Bay, but he was flying back to Green Bay. They started their offseason program as well. And then you got to tie the dad in because I want to sit down, and I'm going to get mom too eventually. Like I want to get dad first. Dad played football at Finney High School in Detroit, Michigan. So that's part of our busy week. I got to get all that set up, and getting 3 people is tough. But we are going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about Anthony Edwards. We got to talk about my prediction, my Shannon Sharp tweet earlier in this series. I said this a long time ago, Sam. People didn't believe me. I said it, the video. I got to make sure I go back and retweet that video for people that did not see it. We got to get it on. I don't know if it's on Twitter. I know it's on Instagram. I don't know if we put it on Twitter, but we got to get that out there because I said the Lakers can't handle 5. But we'll get to that as well. And then we got the Daily 3 coming up. But Sam, let's jump into this NFL draft. Man, it's nice when you get it right from the start. So I know that the tackle out of what's the place called? Alabama. Julia. That's why I can't wait for tomorrow's show either. Julia was loving her tackle or her guard out of Alabama. And right away I jumped on the Big Ten train. Now, of course, people are like, oh, it's the Big Ten and you're this. I kind of look at national champions. I kind of look at size. I like the speed. He can play guard and tackle. That's the one thing that we keep forgetting. This kid played, 2,000 snaps at guard and then 500 at tackle. Moved to left tackle due to injury, and so he finished out the season his senior year a little bit at tackle. And when you watch that film even, you're like, this wasn't the end of the year going against some Rudy Poos. This was at the end of the year going against Oregon, going against Michigan. Like, he went up against some dogs, Penn State, and he played tackle. It was fine. Like Ohio State, they're the national champions. They are the best of the best of the best. Nobody beat them. Alabama, Georgia, your favorite team did not beat them. And we have their offensive guard now in Minnesota. Donovan Jackson, very, very massive body frame. I mean, they have him listed at 331. I know Luke Braun said he looked like he played at 345 to 350. Maybe the 331 is when he moved to tackle. He felt like he needed to lose a little, or, get a little bit slimmer to finish out the season at tackle. Maybe that's where that 331 came from. Off-season workouts as well. Like, you're running a ton. But this kid ran 20 miles an hour in a game. Like, he was clocked at 20 miles an hour. And we know when you look at all the AccuTrack stuff, you look at all the Halo stuff, all the stuff these people use, Catapult, all the stuff they use to track speed, amount of distance covered in practice. Like, because everybody keeps seeing people joke now, because basketball players wear them. I don't know if you've seen this, Sam. Like, a bunch of basketball players now taking their jerseys off after games and getting interviewed. And it used to be just chest. Well, now it looks like they're wearing a sports bra. And so I know Chet Holmgren was caught wearing one. I know Jalen Suggs was caught wearing one. I know Ja Morant was caught wearing one. And for the dummies at home that don't know what that is, they're all like, oh, men are wearing sports bras now? No, dummy, it's a Catapult. Now, could they have made it a full tank or something? I'm pretty sure they could have. The technology is up here. So you could have made it a full tank. But I don't know. The design, that leaves a little bit to like the imagination. That I wonder in that meeting when they were saying we're gonna put tank tops on these men so that we can track their speed and how many miles they run, and because the golfers use, because PJ explained the technology to me, but let's make it a sports bra. I'm like, who, like Sam, if you were in that meeting, would you have like looked at the model wearing a sports bra and be like, yep, that's it? Or would you probably say, hey, can we just add like 8 more inches of fabric and make this just a tank?
Yeah, what does it cost? What does it cost to get another 8 inches of fabric down there?
I have
too
no
much.
Idea.
Oh,
it must be, because I keep a ruler. I don't have it in here. I normally keep a ruler in here for my job as well, because I'm always measuring jersey numbers, and we're measuring the back of a name to see how big a name can be across the jersey. Because you got people with Wisniewski, you got Krzyzewski, and then you got Smith. So you got to measure it out. And so I thought about that. I'm like, how much is that space between the rib and the hip? Like, it's got to be 8 inches, maybe 9. You could have made it a tank, but they went with a sports bra. But Donovan Jackson, we know at Ohio State they use all the technology as well. He was clocked doing 20 miles an hour, and that's crazy when you think about his size. So that's open field. That reminds me, honestly, of like Dalton Reisner when we saw him run down the field to set a screen and to help out, and then he does the Chad Greenway kick at the end of the play, like after he hit a guy and then the guy gets the first down, he does like the super kick like Greenway. That's the kind of stuff that you want to see in your offensive guards. And if I'm not mistaken, Reisner's not on the roster, right
Correct.
Now? Has he gotten picked up by anybody?
No, he did like some kind of Instagram live where he said he was talking with teams, but per usual, Dalton Reisner just does not get signed early. He is a late to the game. He doesn't like the offseason programs, Ron. I think that's the deal.
Maybe. Because I'm not going to say any names, but we were on the Vikings broadcast for the draft, and we were talking picks, and, I picked Dalton Reisner. I picked Donovan Jackson. Mm-hmm. Somebody else picked Gray Zabel, because, you saw it too. They had Gray Zabel ranked ahead of Donovan Jackson. I don't know why. I don't know who did it, but people started jumping on that train like, oh, we're going to get the NDSU kid. We got a Boise State guy. We can get the NDSU kid, because these media boards know. PFF knows. No, the scouts know. Like, the scouts know. And somebody said, like, within our conversation, like, well, they have Dalton Reisner, and I just let it go. And then I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't think they do, but I didn't want to play that game of like, showing anybody up and pointing out that they didn't study. But yeah, there was no Dalton Reisner on the roster, but somebody said they did have Dalton Reisner. And I'm like, they don't. They need a guard, because that's what they were like, oh, I think they can go DB here because they have Dalton Reisner and they have Blake Brand. I'm like, they don't have Dalton Reisner. They don't have Ed Ingram. Like, they only have Brandel. Like, that's the problem. And so I was like, and you know it, every show we did, my show, the Thursday show, the Wednesday show, Donovan Jackson was my guy. And so, yes, I'm going to take my victory lap. I didn't even realize this. So, because you know me, I like to go through Twitter and figure it out. Mm-hmm. I went back to Twitter, put in Donovan Jackson's name and my name. I actually tweeted about him on April 16th. Like, I tweeted when I saw his workout video from the combine on April 16th. I had been studying some film, watching some some Ohio State, Oregon game stuff. And I was like, this looks like a guard that fits exactly with what Kevin O'Connell wants to do. He's a heavy-handed guy. Which, for those who understand what that means, that just means point of attack when he puts his hands down, like guys stopping their stance. Now, again, these are college kids. He's going to go against 30-year-old grown men, Jonathan Allen type grown men. So it's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit different, but heavy hands are heavy hands. 331 pounds, 340 pounds is 340 pounds. I don't care what you say. So when you think about that, that was the pick, and I got it right. So when you look at the rest of the picks, Sam, I'll let you go now, and then I'll follow up. But when you look at the rest of the picks, because I know you were thinking guard too, but when you look at the rest of the picks, Sam, do you think the Vikings came out, like, where do you think they stand in this?
You know, a 5-man draft is not going to have as high likelihood of being high impact.
Correct.
But I think that there are contributors down the road in this class. This is a credit to Kwesi, right? You can't knock Kwesi for a bad draft when Kwesi did all the work to create a competitive roster in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
That was also Kwesi. The reason why we might not see a lot of Tai Felton this year or Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins this year is because the roster is full of playmakers. Like, these will be backup players. These will be contributors in 2026 or 27. So I don't think they're going to see a lot of impact this year. I hope Tai Felton can do a little something, be a gadget guy. I hope that Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins can rotate in. But I think Donovan Jackson is – all your eggs are in the Donovan Jackson basket for this year. That's the guy you want to play week 1. I think that your hope is that he wins the competition. He's your week 1 left guard, and he is helping influence your Super Bowl window. Like, he's part of this run that you expect to make. I can't say the same about the other draft picks. They're late draft picks, right? They're not going to play right away. So the time will tell how this draft looks, but right now Donovan Jackson's the most important piece by far.
And for those that don't know, so the Vikings had Donovan Jackson in the first round, pick 24. They had Tai Felton, pick 3, 102 in the draft in the third round. Sorry, they had like you said, Ingram-Dawkins, 5th round out of Georgia. Another helmet sticker. I guess we can call that a sticker helmet sticker school. Now Georgia's one of them. Mm-hmm. 139, round 5. You had my guy that we're hoping to get this week, Kobe King. So make sure you guys stay tuned to that. Round 6, pick 201 out of Penn State, and then Gavin Bartholomew. That sounds distinguished. Bartholomew. Gavin Bartholomew out of Pittsburgh, 6th round pick, 202. So back-to-back, him and Kobe King. I see. So given the draft grade, I got to give it a B+, just because the lack of picks. So maybe A-, but I'm gonna go B+ just with the lack of picks. Like, 5 picks to me seems low, and it wasn't like they traded away the picks to get to 5. They had to get picks to get to 5. And it worked out. I thought they were going to get to 6. What was our over-under? Was it 6.5?
I said it high. I thought 6.5, but they only upped it to 5.
Yeah, they went to 5. But you look at Kobe King. I think that's going to be a sleeper pick. Like, I think Kobe King reminds me, one, coming out of Detroit, Michigan, looking at like guys like Bart Scott. You know, Kobe King has that I've come from the mud. I've done it all. I've had to fight, scratch, claw to get to where I'm at. I feel like him behind. So you got Eric Wilson, you got him, you got Ivan Pace, you got Blake Cashman, you got what's his name, the kid from Ghana, fast kid, Asamoah, Brian Asamoah. And so when you look at that room, Kobe King fits exactly what Blake Cashman does. So similar body type, similar frame, not little. Like, Ivan Pace is a little guy. He is a run, like he is a true. And so people are saying, like, I'm looking in the comments, of course, and people are saying he's a 2-down linebacker only because of pass protection. Like, can he cover? Because he is he's not as quick, but he ran a 4-6-3, if I'm not mistaken, because I posted that video at his pro day, and you saw his coach stand up, Franklin, do the 4-6-3. For those that are not on YouTube, make sure you go to YouTube, because then you can see what will just happen. If you have really good ears and you can hear me whisper, then you see it. But I had to give you the true James Franklin experience, and that's what it looked like. He did it like 5 times. He turned to everybody, just let everybody know what he ran. And so I feel like Kobe King fits Brian Flores' defensive scheme. He's a guy that you can put out wide and rush off the edge. He's a guy that feels, if you watch his tape, he feels the gap. He moves through the gap pretty fast. He distinguishes the play. Like, he figures it out pretty quick. And why can I get that word? It's not distinguish, it's diagnose. There we go. He diagnoses the play pretty fast. And so when you think about that, Brian Flores' defense is fast. Now, is he an Ivan Pace where he's going to be able to run, 70 yards down the field and cover a tight end or a receiver up the slot? No, but that's why you have Theo Jackson. That's why you have 3 safeties on the field when you add in what's his name, Josh Metellus. That's why you have Ivan Pace. That's the guy that chases. Blake blitzes. Kobe is he's gonna do something similar. Like if you go 3-4 with him and Kobe, you have Ivan Pace out maybe for a play or two just because it's a rundown. You have that linebacker now. Now Eric Wilson, we know he's a vet coming in. He's gonna be a special teams guy for sure, but he's another vet guy. So Kobe probably is behind all those guys. But I see him in maybe a year or two kind of having that Ivan Pace impact. The Bartholomew tight end, I don't know. I haven't watched much film on him. He does have the size though. He has the size. He's kind of built like he reminds me of what's his name? Hawkinson. He has the size, he has the frame, he's long and tall. Is he going to give you what he needs? Is he a blocker? Because we know that's probably what his role is going to be. Or is Kevin O'Connell going to just go 2 tight ends flexed with 2 receivers? And then you got to figure out, do I got to guard Jordan Addison? Do I got to guard Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson? Or do I got to go guard this Bartholomew kid split out wide? He's a big kid. Because what is his, let's see, more info on Bartholomew.
Like 6'4", right?
Yeah, I know he's like 256 or something, or 260. So he's big. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 256 to 260. So big tight end. And he's young, like he's a senior, but he's only in his 21, 22. So this is a guy that probably puts on a little weight. Maybe he does get to 265, 270. Maybe he becomes a bigger blocking back when you look at his body type and can he put on the weight? I know that the scouts wouldn't have done that without a reason. I know that everything the scouts do and think, it's from the coaches, and then they have a conversation, they make their pick. But my grade, I got to give him a B+. What do you give him?
I think that might be a bit higher than I would go.
Okay.
But again, Ron, it's not that I dislike the players. It's a testament to the Vikings roster that they didn't need a lot.
True.
I think they got one plug and play guy, and the rest are wait and see. Kind of redshirt types that probably will take a little bit. So I think it's probably going to be more like a C in impact, but we could look back in 2027 and say, all right, look at that. They got 4 contributors out of a 5-man draft class. That's a pretty good class. Like that would be more of an A grade, I think. So draft grades are hard. They're really hard, Ron. Like we can make fun of them when we see them after the draft because they're just so difficult to pinpoint. But I'm probably going to be a little more moderate in my evaluation just because I have so little idea when we'll see some of these late round guys.
Yeah, and when you think about Dawkins, he's a guy that lacks experience, as they say, because, at Georgia, he only started 10 games. He's been there since 2021, but only started 10 games. But he's learning. That's the big thing on him. He's learning the position still. He's figuring it out. But he has a high ceiling. You don't get a scholarship to Georgia if you're not good. So, going back to Lewis Cine, you don't get drafted in the first round if you're not good. Can you go to the right? I saw, and I can't believe this, but she kind of was right. Joy Taylor talks. Joy Taylor was on with Keyshawn Johnson. They were talking about these draft evaluators and these guys that are picking quarterbacks. And she literally was like, you don't know. You don't know because you don't know what scheme they're ending up in. You don't know what coaching staff. You don't know what players are around them. And that's kind of true. And that goes for every position, though. Like D tackle, what scheme is he going to be in? Is he just coming in to play alongside of 2 really good guys in Hargrave and Allen, or is he going to be? And we keep forgetting about what's his name. Phillips is still on the roster. We talk a lot about these other guys that have come in, but they still got Harrison Phillips. And so, who is he playing next to? What is his job in this role? Can he just come in, push some guys back, create space for Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace to run through a lane and take up 2 guys? Like that's what's going to be the key is. What do the D-line coaches get out of him? What does Brian Flores get out of him? And can he get it done? He's a freak athlete, versatile. And I think that's the word for a lot of these picks is versatility, especially on the defensive side. Versatile, can play here, can do this. Even the guard, Donovan Jackson is versatile. Like a guy that's played 500 snaps at tackle and 2,000 snaps at guard, that's versatile. So That's why I go with a B plus. I just think they had a lot of versatility. But you're right, 5 picks. The roster, it's more so the roster than anything, which kind of speaks to the offseason. Because when you talk about offseason grades, that's why I gave them when we did the pregame show at the stadium at US Bank Stadium for the Vikings. That's why I gave them a B plus, because I'm like, the offseason, you can't win the offseason, but I feel like they kind of did. They were pretty close. Like, they got every piece they needed. They got a center, they got a guard, they got 2 D tackles. They added Rondale Moore, and that's the biggest question mark of them all. Rondale Moore as a gadget guy, if healthy. I remember him, and we talked about this on my show before, when he was playing Minnesota, when he was going to play against Ohio State. He was dangerous. Like, he's a guy you have to watch and you have to keep an eye on. And so that's the thing I look at too in this, is a healthy Rondale Moore. Like, that's why you're right. Like, that's why Tai Felton may or may not play depending on Rondale Moore. Like, if Rondale Moore is 100% ready to go at training camp, Tai Felton's going to be wide receiver 4. And you still have, what's his name? The Speedy.
Naylor.
Speedy still. We haven't even talked about Speedy. That's how ridiculous this offseason has been. That it's so many weapons that have entered the building, so many pieces on the defense and offensive line, draft pick. We haven't even talked about some of the consistent backup pieces. Harrison Phillips, Speedy Naylor. Like, it's just crazy, because Speedy was the guy. Like, in preseason last year, we were like, oh, this is JJ McCarthy's guy. This is the guy. And then he gets hurt, and then that's how you lose your spot. Like, you get a little hurt, and you don't get to fulfill what everybody wanted you to do. But we gave you our grade. Sam, what'd you say? What'd you end up saying? C or B? Or you
C,
didn't give a grade?
C. But you know what I'd rather grade, Ron? Just the whole offseason, like you did. Like you said, B plus. I'd give the offseason an A. I think the offseason as a whole was an A. The only thing that you maybe wish you had was one more corner, but you did address it. You got Okudah in there. You got Blackman coming back. So
and we forgot about Blackman. Like, we forgot, like, Mekhi Blackman was like supposed to be a potential starter. Like, he got hurt. And so that's that. But see, Sam, that's exactly what people saying, the Wally Pip. You got Wally pipped. You get hurt and the world will pass you by. The team will pass you by. You got Sam Bradforded. I mean, like, whatever you want to say, you got Teddy Bridgewater. Like, injuries suck. They suck. And then when a guy steps up in your spot, if he feels your shoe, you got Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady is the epitome of you can't make the club in the tub. If Bledsoe never gets a concussion and doesn't get, I don't even know who that was. I remember it was the Jets, I think, versus the because I think that's the video in my head. It's him trying to slide and taking a hard shot. Like, that's like the Dolphins Ravens with Flacco. When you think about that, that's the reason. Or maybe I think it was Dolphins Falcons with Flacco, or maybe it was somebody else, but it was Dolphins Ravens. Maybe I remember somebody slid late, got hit in the head. But when you think about that, Bledsoe, if he doesn't get that concussion, we don't really see Tom Brady for a couple years, because Bledsoe was on a tear. They were going to win a Super Bowl with Bledsoe probably. Like, Brady just benefited from a concussion. And a lot of guys do. You get hurt, you might never get your spot back. And that's what sucks. That sucks about it. And that's the tough thing about sports in the NFL and even the NBA. I mean, it's all sports. That's why you got Wally pipped. You got hurt and you never got your spot back. But Sam gave him a C. I gave him a B. I gave him a B in the offseason. Sam gave him an A. So that's the report card for the Vikings draft. Coming up next, we got to talk about the Wolves, because Shannon Sharp and everybody in the world was saying all kinds of things. You can work out with Jane Fonda. You can drive in a Honda. You can go to Benihana. Lakers in 5. Everybody had it. 8 Gorilla, Glorilla, Thriller in Manila. Lakers in 5. Well, y'all already know where I went with it. So it could be the NFL draft, a Miller Lite draft, or I don't care if it's the first page of your essay and that's the draft you're going to submit. They can't handle number 5. And it's been that way. And we'll talk about that next, coming up on the Ron Johnson Show.
We're brought to you today by Monarch Money. Do you ever look at your account and you wonder, gee, I wish I had more money. I wish I knew where the money was going. I wish I knew how to curb the spending more and help build my wealth. Monarch Money comes in handy in this regard. It's your personal CFO. You get full visibility, full control over your finances. You can manage it to whatever granular level you want. You can put every single expense, every single transaction into its own bucket to categorize, see the pie chart of where the money's going. You just track all of your money, your investments, your accounts, your spending. It's all in one place. One-stop shop money management. You can connect with your spouse, put them on the app as well. You can share that together, see each other's transactions, and make sure that you're working together on your budget. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Monarch Money.
Well, Sam, it's 3-1. Timberwolves are heading to LA. I think they play Wednesday night, right? Tomorrow night.
Yep.
It could be over. It could be over. It could be by the time I get on the Thursday show to take my victory lap on my Donovan Jackson pick. It could be over. The Timberwolves could have finished this in 5. And it's so funny that, and I'm not going to because Shannon Sharp can't defend himself because he's taking a step back from ESPN right now while he deals with his legal trouble. So I understand that. So I'm not going to get into that. But it's so funny. The rest of the crew can't really say much anymore. Like starting out, it was Luka. Who's going to guard Luka? Who's going to guard, who's going to guard LeBron? LeBron guards him. I mean, let's say the man went for 38, though. LeBron is still LeBron. Like, LeBron's still one of the greatest players ever. Like, he is the greatest player ever, next to Michael Jordan. Like, let's be real. Mm-hmm. But LeBron's biggest issue is he's too buddy-buddy. He's over there laughing and joking with Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley, living up their USA days. Anthony Edwards falls to the ground and his teammate falls to the ground. He's going over to pick up Anthony Edwards. LeBron's at the stage of his career where he wants to be liked. Like Jordan did not care Jordan is fine living in anonymity. He is fine not being out at the parties and at the events. LeBron wants to retire and LeBron wants to go to the All-Star game. He wants to be at the dunk contest. He wants to be a judge in the three, he wants to be all that. He wants to be at everything. He wants to watch Bronny's games and show up to LA after he retires. And hopefully Bronny doesn't get cut and he can walk in or maybe go see Bryce at the NBA draft for when Bryce gets drafted. Because we know that's going to happen. Like we know the Lakers probably take him because LeBron is in the front office, but you can't like the guy you're trying to take their head off. And that's why Anthony Edwards is one of the best right now. You watch Anthony Edwards up the court 2 or 3 times. Now, he needs to be careful this game because I'm pretty sure JJ Redick has turned that film into the NBA to say, hey, look, this is not basketball. This is football. This is not okay. They're punching my guy in the chest. They're beating him up. He has to run through Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards. What does that do? One, that makes him exhaust energy because it's harder to fight through somebody than to just hold your arm out and be a nuisance in their way. We know that. LeBron is fighting through Anthony Edwards to get to the post. This is a 6'5" guy holding up a 6'9", 250-pound guy. Anthony Edwards is strong. So the fact that he said he could play football, I believe it. Mm-hmm. He's holding LeBron up, and he's making him work to get to the post. Like, you're not going to jog down the court and just get to your spot. No, I'm going to make you work. And he got in LeBron's head because LeBron forgot to spot up at the three-point line. That's where LeBron was killing him. At the 3, he was spacing the floor. When LeBron became like, okay, you want to bully me, I'm gonna bully you. Then the game got simple. Get it to LeBron, make him make a bad play, make him throw it away, double him and get rid of the ball. Now they got to figure out the offense with 7-8 seconds left. And now whoever gets it has to fire it up, which is Roy Hachimura. He made a bunch of shots. Finney Smith made a couple. Austin Reeves caught fire. Luka was Luka. But when it got into Rory's hands every once in a while, he made the wrong play. You could see LeBron getting frustrated with him. When he got it to Luka didn't have enough time. Julius Randle sat in a chair and said, I'm going to go. Like, I have never seen Julius Randle play better defense than that. And that's the biggest difference in dealing with Luka last year. Jaden McDaniels, foul trouble. Naz Reid getting set the pick off. They were setting picks after picks after picks to get to Rudy. Well, now the Timberwolves are like, you can see Jaden, like, you can set the pick. I know I would rather Rory Hachimura try to take this 3 or Finney Smith take this 3 than Luka. So, no, I'm not running over there to help out. Every once in a while, watch Jaden Daniels, people. Watch McDaniels. Watch him Wednesday. When he gets picked and he has to come off because the person dives, because he's like, I can't give up an easy layup or dunk. You can see the frustration. He's like, dang, okay. He backs up and he kind of stands there like, okay, I'm going to let him dance. But what they need to tell Rudy is, Rudy, force him to drive. I'm still here. Force him to drive. And then when he drives, you just keep running and go get the guy that I was guarding, which is your guy. But they have it figured out. Jay McDaniels and Naz Reid are in his chest. Anthony Edwards is not having to chase a Kyrie Irving like last year. That was the biggest difference. He was gassed. He was gassed by the end of those games. They also have Naw coming in, frustrating the crap out of Luka as well, and Reeves. Like, he's coming in being a nuisance. And that's the one thing the NBA panels, everybody forgot. Jay McDaniels is a dog. Naw is a dog. Naz Reid is a dog. They don't care who LeBron James is. And DiVincenzo is he's a little pit bull. Like, the fact that he was willing to fight Stewart, and now I'm like, I like this guy. And all of it comes from Julius Randle being big brother. Julius Randle's like, look, y'all go out there and I got y'all. If they do something, I'm the enforcer. They didn't have that before. Cat wasn't Cat should have been a veteran enforcer at 7 feet tall, 265, whatever pounds he is. He was not. He was soft. He stayed at the top of the key. I have not kept up with the Knicks Pistons. Are they up 3-1?
Knicks are up 3-1, and Cat was the hero in game 4. Cat exploded down the stretch, hit some crazy shots.
Yeah, and so that's what he gives you. But here's the thing. I'm guessing Celtics series maybe, or Cleveland series. The Pistons lack another scorer. We know that. Jaden Ivey's out. The Pistons also, Stewart's hurt. Isaiah Stewart is hurt, so they don't have the enforcer that would have been the bully to push these guys around. So the Pistons are their injuries have riddled them towards down the stretch. So the Knicks are probably all but in. They're going to win it. But then you got to deal with the Celtics. Then you got to deal with Cleveland. That's where I want to see what Cat has. Is Cat the same Cat? Like right now with the Pistons, he's like, oh yeah, we got these guys. But are you that same Cat against the top when you got to deal with the top to get to the NBA Finals? That's where Julius Randle is going to come in and help these guys get over the hump. Now, I don't know. What do you think about this series and where they're at right now? Because, game 4, what were they down? 12 at one point?
Yeah, at least 11. Maybe it was 12. It was 11 or 12.
It was a lot because I walked out.
Yeah.
I walked out, started cleaning, folding clothes. And then all of a sudden, you get that alert on your phone, Timberwolves are making a push. And I'm like, whoa. So then they were down 8. Then they were down 5. Then they were down 2. I was like, oh, okay. And then they went up 1. And that was the most so that stretch, Sam, before I let you go, that was the most questionable stretch of plays that the Lakers could argue there was some weirdness, but they did give him one foul that I didn't think it was a foul. Jay McDaniels pulled the chair from Luke and he fell. They called that a foul. But then you saw Jay McDaniels go try to grab the ball from him. That was the moment of like, look, get up. I don't care about you. The next play down, I don't know if you noticed this, Jay McDaniels goes up, normal layup. It got deemed a normal basketball play, and he elbowed or shouldered Luka in the chin. Luka falls. He misses the shot. He keeps playing. They keep playing, which is the best. He's still laying on the floor. That's why I hate basketball play. Get up. You're not hurt. Like your chin hurts. Your legs don't hurt. Get up. Jay McDaniels runs over, spots up, knocks down the 3, runs out of court, says, get your tail up. But get your tail up. Get up. And he's just like, he's antagonizing him. And then Luka comes down. What does he do? Messes up again. Then the next time down, now he steps on his foot and falls. That technically, like in football, can be deemed incidental contact. Jay McDaniels' foot is on the ground. He's not moving it. You stepped on his foot and he's under you. He did not try. He's backing away from you. You reached out for his foot, and that's why I think the refs let it go. That's what people are forgetting. If you reach out for somebody's foot, it's not a trip. If he was underneath him, it's a trip. Jay McDaniels was backing away, and that's why when Luka fell, nobody touched him. They let that one go. And then the next one, though, was the out-of-bounds play later in the game that could have helped, and then he fell again, and they said he got tripped again. Same thing. You're stepping out trying to make a move, and you step on him. He's going away from you. If you fall, you fall. Don't throw the ball in. The guy's on the ground. And then the Timberwolves pull it off. So, yeah, it was an insane game. I can't wait for game 5 on Wednesday. It's a perfect time because I don't have any, all my daughter's softball games are today, so I don't have any games tomorrow. I don't have to be up late. But because tonight, my daughter's game doesn't start to 5:30. My other daughter's game doesn't start to 7:20. So I wouldn't be able to watch a whole thing of basketball, but Wednesday I can watch it, and hopefully they finish it off. My guess is they're going to 6. That's what it feels like. It's coming back to Minnesota to finish it off. But I don't know. What do you think about this, where they're at right now?
Man, what a fun series, first of all. It is cool to go against LeBron when he's playing this well. LeBron is playing like he's 25. And I know he hasn't had a lot of energy at the end of games. We can knock JJ Redick for that, for not getting him more breaks, doesn't trust his bench. But LeBron going off Luka has gone off in 3 of the 4 games and then worn down the stretch. To take those shots from legitimate stars in the league and live to tell about it and actually emerge victorious in those games, because Edwards is absurd, is so cool. We are the talk of the NBA. Feels kind of good, kind of fun to wake up in the morning. Lead story on First Take, lead story on FS1. It's Lakers Wolves. Everybody's talking about Ant. The way they finished in fourth quarters is wonderful. I mean, it is so fun to see Ant clutch up, hit big shots, watch him come up with big defensive stops on the other end. And Ron, I still feel like there's more meat on the bone for the Wolves. Like Rudy hasn't been involved at all in the series, offensively at least, for whatever reason. It's not been a bad matchup for him. Dante hasn't shot the ball great. There's still, I think, room for them. Nikhil hasn't had a good series. There's room for them to do even more. I think that Game 5 is a toss-up. I know a lot of people are picking the Lakers. You're picking the Lakers. I get it. I think it's a toss-up. I think the Wolves may have broken their spirit and JJ Redick's spirit too. What'd you think of him playing the entire starting 5 for the second half?
Well, so like Dalton, Dalton Connect is good. Bronny, we know Bronny can't get anything done in the playoffs. Finney Smith, like
so he played Finney. He chose not to play Jackson Hayes.
Oh, Jackson Hayes, that's the one.
He chose not to play Vanderbilt. He chose not to play Gabe Vincent. And and
Vanderbilt and Jackson Hayes are the two that I think should have played. The other ones, what do you get out of them? Like Gabe Vincent down the stretch, like he's number 7, right? Light skinned dude.
Little guy shooter. Yep.
What does he bring you that you probably lose by like who do you take out? And I think that's the question. Like if you put him in, you have to take out Reeves, or if you put him in, you have to maybe sit Luka for a little bit. It's not so much of them coming in, it's who you lose. And I think he wants Reeves, LeBron, and Luka on the court at all times. So from there, then it's the Jackson Hayes and the Vanderbilt question. But Vanderbilt technically spells LeBron most of the time. And so you don't want to do that, or he'll spell Luka for a little bit. If you look at game 2, 3, and 4, so 2 and 3 really, Vanderbilt was kind of a liability at times. Like he was making some lackadaisical plays. Like he was getting rebounds and just kind of looking around and got the ball knocked out. Remember that one? He got the one rebound that was falling out of bounds and just threw it back in. Like there was a lot of little things where, JJ Redick is very cerebral and he thinks through everything. I think that was part of it with Vanderbilt. The Hayes thing is more so probably lack of like Finney Smith and Rory give you more than what you get out of Jackson Hayes. And Jackson Hayes versus Rudy Gobert just didn't seem like a good matchup maybe. So I think that's the key there. Like I'm okay with it. I as a Timberwolves fan, I'm like, yeah, do it. Let those guys be gassed. Because what you started to notice too was when Julius Randle was ready to be a bully, he was able to be a bully. You know what I mean? Like he could guard Luka. Like that's the one cool thing about Julius Randle. He can guard anybody on the court besides maybe Austin Reeves. And I think even Austin Reeves is not too much faster, but I wouldn't want to put him out there on him. But he can guard your 5 to your 2. Like he's guarding Luka. He's guarding LeBron. He's guarding Finney Smith. He's guarding Rory. Like he's guarding he's guarding all 4 spots. That's where Cat could not do. Like Cat could not guard Luka. Could not. Cat could not guard LeBron. Could not. Like that's the difference. And again, I loved the trade when they first did it. You remember that. And then I hated it because they weren't gelling. And then they even admitted it. Anthony Edwards said, like, yeah, we're starting to figure each other out. He knows I'm going to go, then I'm going to go. Then I know he wants to go, then he's going to go. Like, he had, 21 in the first half? Randolph, sorry. Randall? Mm-hmm. Him and Zach Randolph used to always get me confused. But Julius Randle, he had like 21 in the first half. Like, yeah, he was on fire. And so that's the thing. Like, they know how to play off each other and who to go win, who's going to go. So it's just great to see that they finally gelled and quicker. Like, think about the Rudy Gobert Cat. That thing took over a year. Mm-hmm. The Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards project, because it's not so much Julius Randle and Rudy. They play a different game. Like, Julius Randle's not like Cat down low. Julius Randle is more up top like LeBron. And like, he wants to be more like Anthony Edwards and create from the top. So it's the Julius Randle and Edwards experiment. Theirs took 60 games, if you want to say that.
Yeah, you could say that.
Rudy and Cat took over a year. Like that first year was just horrible. It
Yep.
never looked good. They both wanted to be down low. Like Cat didn't like. Then when Cat had to go out and shoot, it looked like he was mad that he was forced to be out there. Versus like he always wanted to be out there anyway. But it's almost like he was mad Rudy was there. And he just wanted to be a get out my way, Rudy. It's too many people in here. I need to be here. I need to be able to drive whenever I want. The thing about Julius Randle, when he drives, he's driving to make a pass. He only is going up if he's like, there's nobody there. Okay, I'm gonna lay it up because he has that weird, awkward lefty. Like I can lay it up at any time. But he's driving to pass, knowing that if I got a mismatch or a little guy, I'm going, and then they got to help. I'm looking for that. Cat's biggest issue, and you remember this, on his drive in that situation, mismatch. He never knew how to slow his body down and throw it out or get out the way of the guy coming to help. He would just run the guy over, throw the ball up, and then look like, what? Why is that a travel? Why is that a offensive foul? Because you ran the guy over like you were Adrian Peterson coming back from the 2012 ACL. Like, what is going on? And so that's the difference. Cat is great. He can score. Julius Randle just brings a different, like, he plays the game that Ant wants to play, which is let's talk crap and let's go after these guys. DiVincenzo brings that New York attitude, that Villanova attitude. Let's talk crap and let's go at it. The biggest issue is if you put this team, you take these guys, DiVincenzo, Randle, this team, you rewind the clock. I don't know what year that was. Rudy Gobert got choked. If Draymond chokes Rudy Gobert with DiVincenzo and Julius Randle and Nas and Jaden all together, it's a bigger fight. It's going to look like the brawl that the Pistons had. It's not going to end up with Cat like, get off my boy, man, and pulling them off, and they're all standing around like, oh, man, he choked you. No, it's going to be a brawl. Nas and Julius Randle, they're going to make a pile. You're going to see somebody getting elbowed on. Draymond's getting a couple of rib shots under the pile by DiVincenzo or somebody. And then the refs are going to split it up. Draymond's getting ejected. Rudy's going to get ejected. That's it. Maybe a couple texts for some other people. But that's the difference in this team and their attitude. This team would not let Rudy Gobert get choked by Draymond and let that be the end of it. It would have been a brawl. It would have been a brawl. A brawl at the Mall of America. That's what it would have been. We'd have had to deem it the brawl at the mall. But yeah.
And Ron, that's not even, well, like, I don't know which bad blood storyline is number one in that series, because you also have Jimmy Butler. True. Timberwolves fans.
Yeah.
I don't know. The boos will be louder for Draymond or Jimmy. I don't know. It's going to be
for sure. Both. Like, I think both are going to get
loud, voluminous boos.
Draymond's will be the worst though, because Draymond is a villain. Like, Jimmy's biggest issue was he didn't like Cat. And I believe Jimmy Butler and Anthony Edwards could have coexisted. Like, I do.
Probably.
They have the same attitude about, like, let's be dogs. Like, you put Jimmy Butler on this team with the Timberwolves, and again, it's a different coach, right? Finch was not the guy that got rid of Jimmy Butler.
Right. Everybody's gone. There's no one left, but I don't think the fans are going to see it that way. I think the fans are going to absolutely, because Butler has dodged Target Center forever. He's always hurt when his team comes here. So they haven't gotten a lot of chances to let him hear it. It's going to be crazy.
Because now, I mean,
their starting lineup is going to get booed.
Yeah, they're 3-1 over the Rockets.
Yep.
And Sam, you remember when I first said this, when we first talked about this, would you rather be the 6 or the 7? At the time, I said the 7. Remember, I said I would rather play the Rockets. Like, I didn't feel like the Rockets, even though the Rockets had just beat, a couple of teams, they beat the Thunder. I just felt like the Rockets didn't have they didn't have it. Like, they don't have the weapons. And it's so funny too. The Houston Rockets, remember, and the Warriors had their own issues with the coach and Steph. And so when this ends, Steph and Draymond are hitting the all right, go to bed or go get some food or what. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to antagonize. What's his nime? What's the coach's name? That Ime Udoka, who got kicked out the Celtics for improper relationships, which is dumb because you had Nia Long. I don't know why you would mess that one up. One of the greatest actresses of our time. But yeah, it's amazing to me that the Rockets, and what is that? That's the 2. So the 6 seed is going to win potentially, and the 7 seed is going to win potentially. Which is crazy, which goes back to what we said about the West being so close. But Warriors, Wolves, and which is even better. They get the Warriors, and then they don't have to deal with the Thunder until the very end. Like, and the Thunder are going to be tired too.
I think the Thunder will get a good series from either the Nuggets or the Clippers too. I think they'll be tested more than they were with Memphis.
Yeah, because what is theirs at? Right, 3-1 for theirs, or did they?
Which
sweep
one?
It?
Which one? Thunder swept.
So okay, that's the one I wasn't paying attention to. I saw they were up 20 or something at one point, Memphis, and they still lost. Like, I was like, what is wrong with, like, because Ja was like yelling, and then they show Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sitting there like making that face like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, like, and then I didn't watch the highlights, like I just saw the Twitter stuff, and then I looked back up and they won that game. I'm like, was that game 4? Did he do that in 4? Were they up game 4?
That was game 3. They were down
3.
29 and came back to win.
Oh my
God. Ja got hurt.
Okay. That's part. But still, like, I feel like if you take 5 dudes from Lifetime Fitness with a 24-second clock, like, you should be able to hold the ball at least. Like, just drain and maybe that was the problem. Maybe they were running, I bet that was the problem. I bet they were running up and down the court like they had this in the bag and they were just BSing around, shooting threes versus, hey, let's take 24 seconds off every time we're down the court. Like, we are up 29. Take 24 seconds off every time. If you do that, that's 12 possessions between the two of us. 12 possessions. There's only 12 minutes in the game, in the half. Let's go, like, let's give them 12 possessions. At the most, they can score 20 with some threes, but most likely average 24 points on 12 possessions. We should average 10 points on 12 possessions. It's math. But I guarantee they were doing the stupid run up and down the court. I'll probably go back and watch the game 3 highlights, and we'll talk about that next week. I bet they were just running up and down the court, shooting dumb threes and like getting stuff up quick. But we got a little bit of time left. We're going to get to the daily 3. That's 3 questions. We're about a minute each today. We'll do that after a quick pause. All right, Sam, take it away.
All right, this was the big story of the draft. Shedeur Sanders dropped, not from the first, but also from the second, and then from the third and the fourth. It was finally taken by the Browns in the 5th. Now, that's interesting because, yes, the Browns needed a quarterback. They also drafted Dillon Gabriel earlier. So now they've got poor Dillon Gabriel, first of all, but the Browns have a bunch of quarterbacks now. They've got Flacco. They've Pickett.
They got 5. Yeah,
they've got a million
Deshaun Watson.
What'd you make of Shedeur? Yeah, and Deshaun, who probably won't play this year. What'd you make of Shedeur's fall?
Interviews. So I'm hearing the interviews, like he went to one of the interviews with the entourage. I've done the interviews. So I met with the Colts. I met with the Ravens. I met with the Bears. I met with the Saints. I met with the Giants. Those are the ones I remember. There's probably a couple other here and there. But I was slated as a 2nd to 4th round pick. I was, a top 10 receiver. So anywhere from the 2nd round to the 4th round is what they had us, and I ended up going number 9. I was the 9th receiver or 8th receiver taken off the board, 8 or 9. So if you have a heavy receiver draft where 6 receivers, I mean, we've seen that where 5 to 6 receivers go in the 1st round, like Justin Jefferson's year at number 9, I'd be 2nd round pick because I'm still, like more teams need receivers and they 6 went off the board. My year, of course, One went off the board early, and that was Ashley Lilly out of Hawaii, and then Dante Stallworth, I think, went next to the Saints. And then the 2nd round pick was Javon Walker to the Packers, and he was one of the better receivers that year. Antoine Randall went to the Steelers in like the 3rd round or 2nd round too, I think. So it started to work its way. But yeah, it took to get to 9. It took the 4th round. So, but I got called in the 3rd round. But I remember the interviews. And Shedeur Sanders' interview, they're saying he showed up with an entourage. He had his headphones around his neck, not listening to him, but the music was going. And so, you could hear where the music's going. Just dumb stuff. Just like I'm better than you stuff. And there's one thing, like people are like, oh, well, what would you think? Like, look at his dad. His dad was flashy. It's a big difference when you run a 4.2 40 and you are the quote unquote best corner in college football and a potential like Heisman candidate and all this other, award-winning corner. Like, it's big difference. Big difference. But also, I guarantee Deion was not doing that in meetings. I guarantee he was not disrespectful in the meetings. I guarantee he went in, yes, sir, no, sir. What do you want from me? Like, Deion doesn't let his kids curse. He doesn't even curse. Like, he's super respectful. So I think what happens is, like, so I just saw his draft party. 5th round pick, had a party after he was picked. Somebody gave him $1 million gift in cash in a clear suitcase to show everybody you got $1 million. Why are you showing? Why? One, it's your draft party. Why are you getting a gift for $1 million? You just got drafted. But two, you got money from NIL, probably $2 million. Why are you showing off $1 million? It probably came from your dad. Like, I don't think another human being would give you $1 million. Just, hey, congratulations, you got drafted in the NFL. You're about to be rich. Here's more money. What? Makes no sense. I get a watch. I get glasses. So I just think it was all that. I think a lot of people saw that and they're like, look, we don't want to deal with this. Like, if this is how he wants to act, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this to my coaching staff. I think this humbled him now, having this many quarterbacks in the room too. He can't come in with all that because they're going to have to make the outside because the Cam Ward called him out in their workout. Dude, you don't throw the ball outside the hashes. Dude, you don't throw the ball deep. You're the check down king. You're the middle of the field king. We'll see. If he can't throw comebacks, it's going to get exposed early because he might get cut. And then we'll know. And that's where we leave it.
Browns can't resist having the most polarizing quarterback. They got Manziel, Deshaun, and now they've got Shedeur. Next up, Ron, the Bears took Colston Loveland, number 10. Mm-hmm. Packers took Matthew Golden, number 23. Lions took defensive tackle Tyleik Williams, number 28. Who was your favorite draft pick for the other NFC North teams?
You know what? The slap in the face of the Packers picking a receiver finally after all these years, and Rodgers had been asking for a first-round receiver. Like that was the best to me. That was the funniest, but also they needed it. I mean, you look at their receivers, that was the knock. Like they had I think at one point when we were about to play them, they had 30 drops as a receiving core. They led the league in drops. They led the league in they were middle of the pack to end of the pack in explosive plays by receivers. So I think they needed that. Like the Bears had tight ends, they have other receivers, but they got more receivers too. Like they actually got other receivers. They got the kid from Missouri. What you call this guy that we talked about on our show? Luther. He went to the Bears. So the Bears got weapons. But yeah, I do like the Matthew Golden to the Packers. Like I think that was a good one for Jordan Love to get a weapon.
I would agree. I think that was my favorite. I was surprised the Bears took Colston Loveland. Not that I didn't like Loveland. I'm just surprised they took him over Tyler Warren.
I know.
That's really
I told you that, though. I said that when we were on the show. I said Colston Loveland will probably go before Tyler Warren, and all y'all were like, but they got him as number 7 on the big board. I'm like, watch. Just watch. And it worked out. Like, it did. Like, again, I'm not trying to be right. I like to be right, but I just saw it. I don't know why. Like, I kept seeing Tyler Warren at 7, Tyler Warren at 8, Tyler Warren at 6. I'm like, when I watch Loveland, I'm like, I can do more with Loveland than I can do with Tyler Warren. Like, I watched Tyler Warren versus the Gophers. He didn't look super explosive to me. He looks like Dallas Clark, which is great. But I feel like Loveland can end up being like a Kelsey. You know, like he gives you more in the route tree. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. Last one, kind of got into it in segment 2. But if the Wolves advance and the Warriors, again, they have a 3-1 lead over the Rockets, would you rather play the Warriors and have home court advantage or have the Rockets come back and beat the Warriors and then you play the Rockets? You don't have home court advantage in that series.
Either way, give me the Warriors. I just don't think they know how to match up with Ant. Like Jimmy Butler is back. I know he's back, but he got hurt in that first game. I just don't see it. Like I don't see them figuring out a way to stop Ant because Jimmy Butler plays defense, but now he's going to be gassed on the offensive side in the like gnaw on Curry plus Jaden McDaniels being able to chase Curry. I just hope Anthony Edwards doesn't try to do that. Like I pray that he doesn't play that game of like, give me Curry, just like he did with Kyrie. Like, don't do that. Like, it's going to tire you out. He runs too much, putting on him, I would even look at getting my guy off, like one of those young guards off the bench. Just say, hey, Chase, Curry doesn't like dunk on you. He's not stronger. He's just fast. I would put one of those young guns out there for like a minute or two. Just chase. Give us 2 minutes to let Mike Conley rest, and you chase Curry for a little bit, and then when he's out, you get your guys out. Like he comes out, so get your guys out, and then that's when Anthony Edwards has to attack. But yeah, give me the Warriors. I want home court.
I would like a 7-game series between those two teams to wear them out. So let's have the Rockets push it to 7. At that point, whoever wants to win can win. I think the Draymond and Jimmy Butler storylines are just too juicy to not want, and you get them in your building to start the series. So if that can be a long series, you get them in, maybe a little exhausted, give that to me. And let's let Anthony Edwards get another pelt for his wall. Stephen Curry, see if he can eliminate Steph.
Well, And be another one on his wall. He got LeBron coming up. He had KD last year, and now you got Steph coming up. Anthony Edwards got to run through him. And then you got young guns after that. You probably got the OKC Thunder, and then we'll see if they can get to the NBA Finals. But I'm Ron Johnson at Sam Ekstrom. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota, the Ron Johnson Show. Make sure you guys go to YouTube and subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000. We're almost there, people. And this is going to be a great offseason for the Vikings. Why? Because the J.J. McCarthy era has begun. Thank you, guys. Have a great week.